Hey everyone, this is gonna be a first on multiple levels. Welcome to my channel, welcome to Mo.re.Bricks. And if you are here for the first time, you might not even notice that this is actually the first video I'm doing in English. And there is a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I feel very comfortable speaking in English, and I just want to reach the maximum audience I possibly can. And English seems to be kind of the common denominator in, videos these days. And I think even the viewers in Germany don't have any issue with that because I am in Germany. I'm near Frankfurt, actually. But today, this is going to be my first video in English in the new format, actually. And the setup right here is also pretty darn new. And I built a studio around the purpose of shooting more Lego content in the future. If you stop by my other channel, I will link that in the description down below. I also do drum covers with my More Drums channel, and the kind of More theme is gonna stick here as well. And I post on Instagram quite frequently with photo content and also short videos. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna do YouTube shorts as well, but let's see. I'm gonna be able to live stream, and I'm gonna show you my setup in a second right here. You can also already see the microphone, I guess, but I will show you the different camera angles that I've set up, and I will basically be doing a couple of different things here, and I'm not quite sure about the when and where I'm gonna be doing it, but there's going to be live streaming hopefully in the future. I will do more videos more frequently because this setup allows me to do so, because I've set up multiple camera angles with a switching device that I can use to kind of do the videos on the fly. It's all going to be live. I'm not going to be doing any cutting whatsoever if I can avoid it. If I get hiccups, they will be in the video in the end. And if I am lost for words, that will also be in the video. But that's authentic, I hope. And I also hope you will enjoy the content I do. My goal is always to have fun with the stuff I like. And if you can be a part of that, then awesome. And what I do like is playing drums and building Lego models. I've done both for quite a while. I'm 37 almost, and I started playing drums when I was 5. Lego probably even earlier, or might have been Playmobil, I'm not quite sure. But I've been building stuff for ages now, and started with different like underwater models, with city stuff, with model team, sorry. And I've been doing mostly Technic stuff in the past, so if you've seen my older stuff in German, sorry if you didn't understand a word I was saying, but this is going to change, as I said. And yeah, I've been building mostly bigger stuff, so the Millennium Falcon was one of them. That was basically my first COVID build, if you want to call it that. So I actually bought it to leave it in the attic and hopefully have it gain value over time. But I'm not about like the investment stuff that much. So it was kind of like a weird idea to begin with. And I just ended up building it. And I shot some video just with my phone basically, and had it over the table. And then I bought some like action cams also for the drum stuff, and used those to film it. And in the end, I ended up building more the 1/8 scale models of Lego Technic. So I started with the Bugatti Chiron, which was the 42083, the model number, I think. And then I was kind of interested in the other ones that were already out there. So the Porsche 42056 was the model number, I believe. And when it came around, I built the Lamborghini Sian FKP 37, the 42115. And I haven't done the Ferrari Daytona yet because, well, it's already available, but also only at Lego exclusively. And I'm kind of waiting on the 1st of August release. So if you're watching this video before that, I haven't bought it yet. If you're watching it after that, it might already be on the channel. Who knows? But I've also enjoyed building another type of model in the past. I only built one so far, but I was very intrigued by it. And it is actually the architecture line of Lego, because I like to travel. My wife and I, we travel quite a bit, and we visit different places within Germany, within Europe, and kind of go for the landmarks, of course, and the kind of more iconic locations within those cities. So we've been to Berlin, Hamburg, Munich. Well, we live in Frankfurt, so that's easy. We've been to Brussels. I've been to quite a lot of places in the Netherlands already. And, well, there's different stuff in France to visit. In Paris, of course, with the Eiffel Tower. And we've recently been to New York. And this is where it gets interesting, because let's put that up and hopefully let's see the monitor. Yeah, it's in focus. That's good. So I'm going to be starting with the New York City model of Lego architecture. And I have quite a number of models in the back already that I will be building from now onward. And I hope it'll happen fast. I bought these sets because they don't have a super high part count. They should be relatively straightforward to build and nice to look at in the end. So there is not going to be super long videos about those, I suppose. I have the Great Wall of China waiting in the back. I have the Trafalgar Square. I already bought the Capitol building. Paris, as I said, is also in the mix. I do have, let me check back there. The Lego house, of course. Yeah, the Lego architecture house, the very colorful model. Let's see. The White House and Singapore. I think that's the ones that I bought first to build kind of like on the next couple of weeks or months basis. All right, let's quickly go through the setup so you know what's what. And I'm just going to be switching through the camera angles. Let's see, what do we have here? So camera number 2 is basically to show you guys more details about the model, so I can just put them into the light for you, hold them up and show you the back of the box, for example. So it's just a different angle and you can see what I'm doing over here, which is quite nice. So this is camera angle number 2. And number 3 is actually, let's see, overhead. So if I do anything like this, you'll be able to see it from the top. And the cool thing is I will be doing picture-in-picture for you guys. You can also see my laptop on this angle pretty well. So the setup I have right now, for those of you who are technically interested in how this all works, is I already had a Ninja V monitor by Atomos, which I use for recording, and it's got a hard drive in it. It's a monitor to control basically all the lighting aspects. So I have zebras on there, I have false color on there, I have a LUT running on there, and it also works as a switcher. So I have a couple of buttons here. I can use the touchscreen as well, and I will show you in camera number 4. Here we are. So this is actually where you can see my laptop, and this camera is just overhead right here, and it's also going to be doing like detail shots for you guys, so I can show you different parts better and up close. And you can also see this is kind of where all the switching happens. And yep, got my monitor arm, got the SE Dynacaster mic for you guys, and I'm basically mostly talking to the front camera, which is sitting behind my control monitor, which is kind of in the front right there. And yeah, this is basically it. And I don't want to spend any more time talking. I'm recording all this stuff in the background. As you can see, like a little blinking red light going on here. And yeah, let's get into it. I will basically unbox New York City, and I will show you with the picture-in-picture. Let's go to this one. And let's see. Oops, sorry. Yeah, this camera angle. And let's do this from up top. Perfect. No, that's wrong. Here we go. That's what I was talking about. Okay, so New York City. As I said, we just visited New York, and is this camera focusing? Are you focusing? Yeah. Okay. We just visited New York a couple of weeks back, months back, beginning of May. So a couple of months back already. It's July. Jesus Christ, time is running. And we did visit a couple of the landmarks you can see here. Let me just go to... yeah, that's better. So, a couple of the landmarks. Does this work? Yeah, perfect. So, we have, of course, the Freedom Tower. And we do have the Chrysler building. We do have the Statue of Liberty. And we do have, I believe, the Flatiron. Is that it? Yeah, Flatiron building. When we tried to look at that, the weather was quite bad, so it was all fogged up. Same for the One World Trade Center. I went up on the platform in this one on my last visit, which was actually business related, but we had a day off. Empire State Building, we looked at that from a different platform, from the, Top of the Rocks, so the Rockefeller building, Rockefeller Center, and we looked at the Empire State Building from over there. And yeah, so this set is hopefully gonna be very fun to build. I haven't actually broken the seals yet or unboxed any of it. I'm just hoping that I won't break the boxes or whatever. But I, of course, forgot to bring a knife. Nope, that's wrong. Sorry if this is kind of... here we go. All over the place. Actually, as I said, the first video in this very setup. And you're gonna be along for the ride of many bloopers for this one, I guess. And... I'm just hoping beyond hope that I won't rip the box. Bear with me here. I'm gonna go very slow to not damage any of the beautiful box art. Okay, number 1, that worked. Great. And now for number 2. Yeah, it would be smarter to cut those in the future. Note to self. And I'm also still experimenting with the audio, so if this kind of broadcast type mic is good enough and you can understand me well enough, leave it in the comments if you think this setup looks good, sounds good. If there's anything you would change or improve, I'm happy for any feedback, because I haven't been doing the video stuff for too long. I basically got into it, as I said, during COVID. As many other people, I rediscovered old hobbies. And I started playing the drums when I was 5, as I said, and been doing drum videos for only 2 years now, 2 or 3. And so here we go. That's the box contents and a couple of bags. Instructions. There we go. Oops. Just have to... I'm on this camera right here. Okay, instructions. I won't be using the paper instructions. I will be using PDF files on my laptop, just to leave those untouched over there in the corner. Or let's put them somewhere where they're not in the way. Perfect. All right, and I already have those on my laptop. Just have to get them open. And it took me about, I would say, 3 weeks to get this setup up and running. And it was actually more complicated than you might think, mostly due to the fact that all the cables running through this room, I hate cables, never did like them. I always trip over them. I don't like people stepping on my cables, particularly because they break if you do it too often. And I also like it nice and tidy, so I enjoy not seeing cables, not tripping over cables, so I put everything up on the ceiling, basically. And running HDMI cables for 4 different cameras is actually not that easy, and you need flexible ones. You need cables that are not too stiff to run them in tight angles and actually, tidy them up in the end. And that wasn't too easy to actually find them and the right length. But got there eventually, so here we go. New York is the only real city, said Truman Capote, apparently. And going through the manual, is this identical to the to the paper one? We have the Brooklyn Bridge, and I actually stood in that very spot where this photo was taken not too long ago. Very cool. Skyline with the Freedom Tower, other buildings in the back. Very nice. Statue of Liberty, Flatiron Building. I haven't bought these two individually. I'm very much looking forward to the Flatiron Building because I think it's a very cool looking building. The Chrysler Building. I don't think this one exists as an individual set. Empire State Building. And, well, kind of a general shot of the city. Part divider. We don't need that. And then the instructions begin on page 15. We do have about 115 pages, but the instructions go up to page 108. And then you have another shot of the city itself. All right. I hope this is not going to be too loud on the audio. I have to check it after actually making the video, but I will just take apart the pieces. So the only piece of editing I will probably do is get rid of all that crumbling noise, and I hope the part shuffling won't be too noisy, but we'll see. All right, let's skip through that instruction manual and get it started. And I, as I said, haven't figured out the exact modus operandi, if that is a word in English. I think it's Latin. Oh, found the plaque. So detail shot, where is the detail shot? Let's go over to camera 4. Detail shot, there we go. So, does that work? Ah, it's face focusing. Nah, I have to switch it to the other mode where it is kind of product focusing. Damn it. Can I get that to work somehow? I think I have to cover my face for it to focus. Should be working though. Ah, here we go. New York City. All right. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be talking all the time or if I'm just going to be talking some of the time. But you can see the instructions right now, so I will probably tell you a little bit about what I'm seeing in the instructions. So I would guess that we're starting with kind of the base. Oops, no, need a 4-stud one. And I wouldn't consider myself like a very experienced builder. I have done, as I said, quite a bit in the past, but I wouldn't call myself like an expert or a master builder or whatever you want to call that. But I think I've seen most of the parts in my days, so I usually should be pretty quick to find what I'm looking for once I see it on the instructions. By the way, the instructions are on black background, so black parts on black background, that can be a challenge. And also, by the way, let me know if the mic is distracting in the shot. I mean, I do have a bit of wiggle room to move it and put it away a little further, so it's a little bit more out of the shot. But I do want you to understand what I'm saying, so let's keep it right here at this very moment. Yeah, so I've seen most of the parts in my day, and distinguishing them is probably one of the, I wouldn't say more difficult things, but I usually don't even gather the parts up front because you can see them in a little box, usually up top, so it tells you for each construction step which parts you're gonna need, but I usually don't really look at that too much. I rather just go for the part that I'm seeing in the shot. And so for right now, for example, you can see in the final piece that is built that you need 3 studs over here and then another 3 that are left open. So kind of counting that while you're building is probably one of those things that you get used to when you build Lego over a period of time. And this is probably something that people who haven't been building Legos for too long are struggling with, to kind of get the dimensions of the parts right when they pick them. So looking at different parts on like the instructions, for example, if I have something like this, I hope this focuses. Let me see. It actually doesn't. Why doesn't it focus? Hello. Yeah, I was thinking about getting another lens for the up top shot. Ah, here we go. Okay, there is the focus. So, oops. Yeah, and it's gone again. There we go. So this part, for example, is an 8-stud one, and just looking at the picture, I can tell it is, but some people would probably pick a 10 or a 6-stud version instead. So kind of picking the parts without having to think about it. That's kind of where experience kicks in, I would say. And building Technic models probably helps with that, just because they're very intricate, like especially when you're building gearboxes and there's different length axles that you have to deal with, and there's different length lift arms that you have to deal with. And so I think when you've done Technic models, especially the ones, I mean, Lego's age kind of brackets for the models has gotten a bit more marketing focused, I would say. So if this set, for example, says, let's see, what does it say? It says 12 plus. I wouldn't necessarily agree with this being a set that you can only build when you're 12 and older. I probably built Technic sets that were meant for like 12 or 16 year old teenagers when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. And this was never an issue. And I always liked the challenge. But yeah, Lego's kind of marketing is geared towards more older builders, I would say, more recently. So especially the newer sets. Oh, forgot a part. There we go. Especially the newer sets. Let me see if I can you see this better? Okay, I think I have to move the picture in picture so you can see what I'm doing more. Or I'm gonna be... Yeah, that's good. Ah, that's better. Okay, good. Yeah, as I said, getting used to it. Sorry, guys, for taking you on this kind of wild joyride of camera switching. But I wanted to start and not wait around any longer to do those videos for you and with you. And if it's a bit chaotic, I apologize. But as I said, I just wanted to get started, and I've been building this setup for so long now that I wanted to get it kind of off the ground. Alright, so this part, for example, I think I haven't seen yet. Oh, right, I have. It's just a variation of what I had in the past. So, here we go, little part right there. And I have to, yeah, I really have to switch this to, whoops, cover my face focus off, product focus on. Not really. There we go. I used to attach, I think, kind of little flags to it in the past for different sets. Let's see what this does in this one. All right. Also, in most cases, when I build larger models, I tend to pre-sort the parts a little. Meaning they're usually, when you build bigger Technic sets, for example, they're usually in numbered bags, so you get the steps right, basically. But for like a model this small, you can see this is probably the content of one building step of a bigger set that Lego does. And so usually if you kind of sort the parts, and I do have little boxes that I, especially on the Millennium Falcon or the bigger 1/8 scale Technic models, I use those to kind of pre-sort the parts into little compartments to have all the axles of the same size in the same one, and all the lift arms of the same kind in the same compartment. And I don't think I will need this for most of the architecture sets. But right now I'm looking for a part that's directly in front of me. This happens as well. A lot, actually. So... yeah, this is most definitely the base, as you can see. Like, this is going to be the very bottom, and in the front you have these studded parts right there, where the signage is gonna attach to. So we're gonna have like a lot of the flattened out parts right here. So a lot of these Okay, so the focus issue is definitely one I have to solve in the future. Just so you guys, here we go, can see that better. And the studded parts in the front right there. And I have to get used to seeing on my control monitor that this is kind of switched left and right. And so base plate. All right. And now we're starting to cover the whole front with the plates. And we already now need the New York one. That's cool. So pretty early on in the build. Right. So that's that. So New York, New York. Focus, please. Don't know why this is having so much trouble, because I use these quite a lot, and I'm shooting on Sony APS-C cameras because their autofocus is usually quite fast and good. But since I have face detect on, it might have an issue with the overhead angle for some reason. Here we go. New York City plaque is on there. All right. Covering the rest. 1, 2, 3. Oops, no, wrong one. And 4. All right. Base plate is finished. Gotcha. See-through parts. We have quite a bunch of see-through parts. So clear. And let's see what these do in the end. Simulating water, probably. Not quite sure. So my trip to New York, the last one I did, as I said, I was there before in a professional capacity because I do work for an American-based company. They're out of Farmingdale, so not technically like New York City, Manhattan, but Long Island? Is it Long Island? I'm very bad at geography, so I I would have to guess, but I think it's Jersey or Long Island. Yeah, but I do work for a company called D'Addario, and they do strings for guitars mainly, and they also do, and that's kind of my area, drum stuff. So they do Evans drumheads, ProMark sticks, Pure Sound snare wires. So if you're into the whole music thing and like playing an instrument, you've probably used one of the products that D'Addario does already, unknowingly or knowingly. And yeah, I'm basically the drum guy within the Frankfurt office in good old Germany, and I do everything that has kind of the drum stamp on it. So yeah, and I was in Farmingdale, visited the headquarters in 2018 when I started with the company, and then COVID hit in 2020, and my brother actually, shout out to Felix. Hi, Felix. He has been living in the States for quite some time now. I think we talked about this just in May when we finally went over. For almost 10 years, over 10 years, I tend to forget. I'm so bad with timelines. Yeah, but he's been over there for quite a while, and living with his wife over there, and we wanted to go over already in 2020. It didn't work out, and so we kind of postponed the trip multiple times, and now it finally happened in May, and we went to New York first and then took the Amtrak to DC, where he lives, or Arlington to be more precise. And so New York was kind of the no-brainer city to go to when you're in the States, and even though I've already been there, I was sick twice. Out of the 2 trips I took there, I got sick twice because, well, air conditioning, I guess. Because where we live here in Germany, by now it sadly becomes more necessary to get air conditioning because of climate change. But most homes don't have one like pre-built in. So you have to kind of aftermarket it. And so there is no HVAC systems in most homes. I mean, office buildings is different, but in kind of just residential areas, you're hard-pressed to find older houses that do have air conditioning already built in. The newer ones kind of start with it by now. But yeah, in New York, especially when you visit in August, which is, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody who's not kind of keen to have like 35 degrees Celsius and very high humidity at the same time, and have that kind of change to below 15 degrees Celsius in your hotel where you're staying. So that's kind of icky. Yeah, so I got sick twice out of 2 times being there in the past. So this time in May, I felt the aircon wasn't up that high, and I didn't get sick, which was good. I like not getting sick. But the weather was kind of an issue. So stopping to talk about what I did in New York and showing you some parts. So this is what it looks like so far. Oh, the focus actually worked. Nice. So we have the base. It's getting kind of tiled up with gray flat tiles. Some studs there to attach the buildings in the end, and there is some mechanism to attach. This is going to be actually the Freedom Tower, I guess. Yeah. And I think now what I'm going to start building is actually the base for the Statue of Liberty. Let's see if I'm right. So, tan pieces. We have quite a lot of tan pieces, and I think the tan pieces go mostly in the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building, but that's largely these ones right here, so the kind of split tiles. There we go, these ones right here, because I need to cover the entire facade of the building with it. So, here we go, base. I'm going to just set this one aside. I like this camera angle. This one is really good. In case you're wondering what I use film equipment-wise, as I said, Sony cameras, and on top of this particular one, I think it's an A6400 or 300. I have 2 of each by now. Yeah, and this one comes with a Samyang 12mm lens, so it's actually like just at my arm's length. This is where the camera sits, just on top of the laptop screen. And it's actually really close and really wide angle, which is good. Sorry for hitting mic there. And I already love this lens from my drum videos, because for those, it's actually the lens filming from the top. I have it set up on top of my drum kit, because the ceiling in this room right here is actually quite low, just shy of 2 meters, I would think. Yeah. And for the drum kit, like for this table right now, I have the 16mm lens up top, and it actually is on an arm, on a rod, just sitting right above my head, basically. So to only give you the table space and not too much left and right of it, I had to kind of lower the camera, because the 16mm wouldn't work here because it's not wide enough, so you wouldn't see the table. And I used the 12mm here and the 16mm up top. And for the drum kits, it's basically the other way around. So I have to switch the setup quite a bit to be able to do both types of videos. And I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out going forward, because I tried to set this up in a way that I stay flexible and kind of mobile with all the equipment I use. It's not the easiest thing to do, to be honest, but I hope I achieved that. And as I said, I've been shooting the drum videos for quite a while now, and the last one I did is actually just before I started building this room to do what it does now, and I haven't switched back yet, so that's going to be interesting to see, because I've been practicing drums for my next cover, and I'm not too sure how quickly I will be able to... Oh, I forgot some parts. Yeah, as I said, I don't look at the parts lists too much, and now I should have, because I forgot the little round studs as the base right here. Yeah, should have done that. All right. Yeah, so this is kind of simulating the island that the Statue of Liberty is on, with the green around it. Right here. And show you right there. Yeah, so there's the little green, that's the the base of the statue, and the rest is still kind of not built yet. I really have to hold it in front of my face so it doesn't focus on me too much. Okay, so base down, and now the statue itself comes into play. And oh, I have two of them. That's nice. So the statue is a very small part, very small. There we go. This is actually a little mannequin, and I have two of them, just in case I lose one. Very nice of you, Lego. Very nice of you. Also, please tell me in the comments if I talk way too much and you want to hear less of me and see the build go quicker. I am, as I said, very much in the process of finding the right format for these videos. So if I ramble too much and you are just like, okay, please stop talking, it'll probably also be limited by what my voice will be able to handle, because I can already see or feel that talking this much is going to be quite strenuous on the voice, but let's see if I can handle that. All right, so right now I actually picked the wrong part for once, so I, as you can see, picked the wrong length of the studded single row pieces right here. Jesus Christ. I haven't done makeup tutorials, so I don't know how to hold this into the camera correctly. Ah, come on, camera. Focus already. And? Nope, doesn't want to. Let's try this one. Hello. There we go. So, wrong length, you could see by the two exposed studs on the side, and then I noticed, oops, it's the 8 stud one, not the 10 stud one. So, these apart again. We've arrived at the Empire State Building, I believe, because all of these parts. And I need this one twice, I just noticed. And that's why pre-sorting the parts can make sense. So if I had everything tan in one location, everything gray in the next, and so on, it would be a bit quicker to pick the parts. But then again, the pre-sorting takes a lot of time, and for bigger models, it might make more sense. Otherwise, you would be searching quite a while, and also the table you need gets quite big. When I built the Millennium Falcon, I had to get an extra table just to put the parts on, because the model in the end is so large that after like the first couple of building steps, if you have the parts on the table that you're also building on, you're not gonna have a good time doing it. Like, it's just not working. And yeah, so I had to get a second table to do that, but it worked out eventually. And as I said, I have video footage of the Millennium Falcon. You can check it out on the channel, but it's not the most professional looking, to be honest. So as I said, I did this kind of just on the fly, no real planning involved, just filming it as it was, doing some live streams on Facebook, I believe. So I will be doing those on YouTube going forward, I think. I don't have a Twitch account yet, so I might be going into the streaming route more. But that kind of depends on what your feedback is also, because I, as I said, haven't done that yet. And I'm not quite sure if Lego streaming is a thing. We do have a pretty well-known German YouTuber who's also on Twitch. He's called Der Held der Steine. And Thomas, that's his first name, he's actually... That's weird. Did I forget something again? Oh yeah, I think I have to turn... Oh, I don't? Okay. What did I do wrong? Let's see. What did I F up? Did I F up anything? I did! Oh yeah, right. So I completely botched this part. Lucky me. I think that's also what happens when you talk while building. Alrighty, so yeah, that's looking more like on the pictures. Yeah, so der Held der Steine, the hero of the bricks, so to speak. He's probably the most well-known brick building person on YouTube. Right, and now I can put this in here. Awesome, that works. Great. So, base part 2. There we go. I just have to get really close, then it works. Base part 2 for the Empire State Building. Done. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so he's building a lot of stuff on Twitch as well. And I actually never watched a Twitch stream of his. I usually go for the YouTube videos instead. But I might be able to draw some inspiration from the Twitch stream, so I kind of have to check those out. The thing is, they usually happen on Sunday mornings, I believe, and that is not the best time for me. And I'll have to see if that's worth checking out anyways and getting up. All right. Dun, 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 dun. This is going quite well, I think. Just have to see that I don't twist these the wrong way. I mean, Lego instructions are usually meant to kind of appeal to everybody, no matter the age and building level and experience. So you usually won't have any trouble building Lego models with the instructions. And sometimes they have mistakes in them. I think this also happened in the most recent Lego Technic 1/8 scale model, the Ferrari Daytona. And I've read quite a bit that the gearbox instructions are somewhat faulty, which is weird because they used the exact same gearbox on the last 1/8 scale model. So the Xi'an I built, the instructions in that one were correct, apparently. And now the gear ratio, no, not the gear ratio, but the gear sequence, right. The gear sequence is actually wrong. Let's see if this camera angle is also quite good. Yeah, so now we're building the Empire State Building. Oh, that's actually working better in terms of focus if I hold it up like this. Yeah, that's good. Okay, perfect. Where was I? Here. Right. Yeah, so apparently they botched the instructions for the gearbox on that one, so it sometimes happens that you are better off waiting a little bit until those kind of mistakes are caught, usually by the first people who build it. So the influencers who get the sets early from Lego or like just ready for the release, they usually post building reviews of those sets quite quickly, which is very nice for people who want to kind of decide if they want to get this particular model or not, and if it's something they would enjoy building, or if they're like, nah, the box art looked good, but I'm not going to go for it, because in real life, especially for the Ferrari right now, I was kind of unsure about the kind of the rear of the car, because it's pretty much square. It looks very bulky, at least for my taste. Yeah, but this is kind of a good way to find out if you actually will go for the model or not, and also to catch mistakes. All right, so now, so these go up a little like this. Yep, they do. Okay, I only need one of those, and I need a lot of those. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I look at the time when I started building? I'm not quite sure if I did, because I also wanted to kind of keep an eye out on how long this build is going to take. Not quite sure if I'm going to be able to finish it in one building step, to be honest. If I can do that, that's going to be great. To kind of get a grasp on how long these architecture models in that same size bracket and with the same part count, how long these will take. But let's see how that turns out in the end. Oops, here we go. And like so, is that correct? Yeah, perfect. So socket, here we go, that's the socket. One side is covered, the other one isn't yet. And that is also something that you learn when you build Legos for a while. There is a lot of repetition. So sometimes, like if something is like just a mirror image of, let's say a plane or something, of course it's going to be basically built twice. And this is something to keep an eye out for if you're building certain sets, or if you're interested in, let's say, the Colosseum, like the big monument in Rome, in Italy. I've been there myself. It looks more interesting on pictures, I think. So if you're there yourself, of course, it's impressive. It's large. It's actually huge, and the fact that so much of it survived is amazing. But then again, it is pretty beaten. It's pretty beaten up. So it is not in the best of shapes. And the Lego model was, when it came out, I think the biggest one they did so far. And technically, it's also an architecture model because it's a landmark. It's a building, and I think I wouldn't go personally for it. I love large models. Don't get me wrong. I'm also thinking about doing the Titanic at some point, and I think it's probably almost as wide as my table. But I'm not quite sure if I should because, as I said, repetition. And I mean, for cars, you have the same thing with the front and rear fenders, for example. Sometimes the doors are pretty much identical, just like flipped on its side. But then again, there is a lot in between that is different. And that is just not the case for the Colosseum, for example. So if you build that, like all the stuff that's going around is pretty much identical. So you build the same thing over and over and over again. And for some people, that is kind of okay, I guess, and some people like that. And it probably is also kind of relaxing because you already know what you're getting into. I think that's the wrong part, is it? No, it's the correct one. Okay. Right. Go. Need 3 of those. 1, 2. Yeah, getting these small pieces stacked up correctly. Oops, and not breaking the rest in the process. That's good. Yeah, so repetition is something I look for when I decide which set to get. And I mean, I'm by no means a influential person when it comes to Lego videos or content whatsoever. I just started out, and the stuff I did gets very little views so far. So I'm not kind of one of those people who kind of get everything because, well, they're already in the scene and already have a reputation, and they get the sets to review early on, as I said. So I'm not one of those people, so I can basically just freely decide what I want to build, which is also pretty cool. So if I'm not interested in something, then I just won't do it. And that's kind of cool because, yeah, the independence is always something that I like. Also in terms of like drum stuff, I mean, genre-wise, I'm pretty at home in kind of the rocky metal-ish area. I just did a kind of poppy electro cover of an Alice Merton song, and she's actually from Frankfurt, which is kind of cool. And yeah, but I'm free to do whatever I want drum-wise, and I also am free to use every equipment I like because I'm not endorsed by anybody. So I do play the heads that the company I work for makes, but I could play basically any head I like because I'm not sponsored by anybody. The same goes for cymbals and sticks, goes for the drum itself. So I'm basically free to use whatever. And I go about the same way building Lego sets, I guess. So the architecture stuff I haven't seen as much on any channel so far, and I don't know why, because I think it's totally cool to kind of experience a little bit what these places are and what they look like, and kind of the condensed version of those places. And of course this is like very reduced and at best an approximation of what they really look like, but especially when you've been to those places and when you stepped foot on, let's say, the Empire State Building or the Freedom Tower, the 9/11 memorial, like all of that is very special, I think. I'm lacking the fourth one, I think. Yeah, there's one more to go. And to see if the... So this is going to be the top, I think. Yeah, here. Just going to lay this flat just so you can see a little bit where this is already at height-wise. So I think I'm just building the top right here. Yeah, perfect. Let me just switch to the full view of the top to give you... Yeah, okay. That looks good. Give you that for a bit, so I don't have to see my stupid face too much. All right. Just have to keep an eye on the focus, but yeah, it's actually there. That's good. All right. So, yeah, for me to kind of think back to the time in New York, kind of cool. And as I said, we had pretty bad weather, unfortunately. So we were there for 4 days, and 3 of them it was pissing, pouring rain all over. And I mean, New York, when it's a good sunny day, is in, and that's just my humble opinion. This is not to insult any New Yorker there is, because I know they're proud and they are a special folk, because you have to withstand quite a significant level of noise when you're living in New York or working in New York. And the city truly never sleeps. This is something I can attest to and speak to from my visits there. It is really something else. And if you've been to other bigger cities before and think, yeah, I know how New York is gonna be, nah, you don't. You really don't. It's on an entirely different level, noise-wise. And oh, I should have put this on the back. I just realized. I mean, the front is probably going to be the same, but let's be detail-oriented here. So they told me to flip it. I will flip it. Okay. And the middle part is just going to be those, and then there's one of those again. Okay, perfect. So, yeah. Broke it. Nice. It's going to be a bit fragile, I think, just because of the height. And putting the middle parts in is probably easier when you haven't done left and right, because the instructions actually told me to do it that way and I did it not that way, so my fault. All right. Do we continue with the sides? Okay, the top right here. Right. So these go here. A lot of tan parts. Sand people would feel right at home here. All right, flipping it again, and yeah, so talking about repetition. We didn't get the chance to go to Central Park because, well, the weather was just so bad that we would have just been super muddy in the end, I think, and we thought about going to Bronx Zoo as well, because we get that on one of our TV channels, the kind of show about the Bronx Zoo, and it always looks insanely big and interesting. I mean, we have zoos here in Germany, of course, but nowhere on the scale of the Bronx Zoo, I would believe. Yeah, but the weather kind of pooped on our parade, or rained on our parade, to be more precise. So we kind of did everything we could in one day where we didn't have shitty weather, and that day was just jam-packed with us walking everywhere and taking, of course, the metro, subway, the underground train, whatever you want to call it. And that day was amazing in the end. I mean, the High Line, for example, which is not in the set, is just amazingly beautiful. And when the weather is nice, to walk that decommissioned train track is just unbelievably cool, and was really, really fun to do. And the vessel, another architectural monument that is probably too new to be in any of the Lego sets, but also that one amazing. Unfortunately, the landmark itself, like the actual building, they consider it to be a kind of walkable piece of art, and I would agree from the looks of it. Unfortunately, because too many people apparently jumped off of it, they closed it down for just the walking part. So you can only go on the ground floor, and you can only look at it from afar, basically from down below. And even that is kind of very cool still. But yeah, we didn't know about that when we initially planned the trip. So we were thinking, oh, okay, let's go there. We did go there. I got a coffee from Starbucks below, which for New York was probably a normal priced coffee. But I kind of was like, it costs how much? Really? Does it have like unicorn dust sprinkled on it instead of like cocoa powder? Yeah, so that was something. And it was, as I said, closed for obvious reasons. I mean, I do get it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people to jump off that building anymore. So closing it off is probably the safest way. We're getting quite high, people. We're getting quite high. So, oops, this looks kind of crooked. All right, that's quite the height already. And now the antenna is gonna go up there. Awesome. So we're doing it from left to right, I guess, building by building, and then there's gonna be the other two, Flatiron and the Freedom Tower in the end. Awesome. This is fun. I like this. All right, is that the right piece? It's a kind of darker-ish gray. So it's kind of a metallic gray piece right here. Focus. Hello. Okay, I really have to figure this out. This is annoying. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. Metallic, darkish gray. I'm not sure what official color name this has. But for the antenna, this is going to be darker, and the other one is going to be lighter. And I think, yeah, I should have done this. No, that's the wrong rod. I'm looking for this one. This one is the right one. Here we go. And then we have this one. And is this one available in a different color? Isn't. And I'm looking for this one. I'm looking for this one right here. So, still not quite sure about this color. Not quite sure about this color. I'm gonna leave it right now because I can't see any other color option for this part. All right, here we go. Let me show you this up close. Let's go to this one. This is better. Yeah. All right, Empire State Building. Here we go, people. It's quite high compared to the Statue of Liberty. I don't think this is a scale model, to be honest. This is kind of just out of proportion, but yeah. So Statue of Liberty right here, small green guy on some tan socket pieces, and then we have the Empire State, and then we have space for Flatiron and the Freedom Tower. Let's go. All right, so white pieces for a change. Nothing tan anymore. Good. Get that right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what does my watch say? 11:45 a.m. that is. So I'm not here for that long. That's good. More clear pieces. Nice. Technically, could happen that my dog comes in at any moment, because it's usually her time to go for a walk. I mean, it's not like she's gonna burst if I don't go at this very moment, but she's probably gonna be anxious to go anyway, just because, well, it's a habit. And I mean, the door of the studio is closed right now, but could be that my wife opens it and lets Penny in. If you want to know more about Penny, she's a Corgi, a Pembroke Welsh Corgi, and especially the viewers in America might know a little bit more about those guys. They're not that common in Germany, but they are like among the top 10 dog breeds in the US, as far as I'm aware. And especially the smaller Pembroke ones, like Penny is, they are quite frequent. And there is rescue corgis because of it, unfortunately, as well. In Germany, it's a bit different. We only have a couple of breeders, and they're a very tight-knit community. We had to wait for Penny for close to 2 years. And yeah, not that easy to get. Not that easy to get. But she's already 4 now. We've had her for quite some time, and she's a total handful. And I don't do corgi videos yet. Might. We have some on Instagram, so if you want to check out Penny, I'll also leave a link in the description below, as with my drum stuff. So if you want to see what she does on a daily basis, derping wise, she derps a lot, of course, and she makes funny faces. She's absolutely bonkers with the ball she plays with. Like, she is actually, I believe, a golden retriever in disguise, because like I don't know any other corgi who's that ball obsessed. Like, she is an absolute mad lad when it comes to playing with her balls. All right, where are the see-through 1x1s? One hiding. Where's the other one? This one goes here. Yeah, this is one of those situations where you look for one specific part and there is only one of it left probably, and you just cannot for the life of you find it. And it's hiding out somewhere. It is being sneaky as F, and you just can't seem to put your finger on it, literally. Like, I have no clue where this see-through part is. I mean, the other one was over there, so why should this one be over here with the other clear parts? I have no idea, but can't find it. Here. If you ever are in this situation and an item is actually missing, I mean, the cool thing is, at least here in Germany, I'm not quite sure how it is in other countries, Lego actually has a replacement parts service where you can just tell them, okay, I bought this set and this part was missing, and you will get it for free in the mail. And that's pretty cool. I mean, I only had it once in the past. This might actually be the second case if I end up not finding it. I hope I can still place whatever I have to place there in the end, because, well, don't know if that's gonna work, but I'll keep building and I'll see where it takes me. If it doesn't work, then, well, let's see. Oh, I know what mistake I... No, do I? No, I don't know what mistake I made. No, okay, this was actually right. Okay. Hold on a minute, what's going on? So I've done this, I've done that. I've done this, and that's the part missing. Oh, it's actually white ones, it isn't even clear ones. Yeah, stupid me. Okay, yeah, I can't find it because I used the wrong part. It looked like a see-through, it wasn't one, it is a white one. So, no part missing, apparently, at least not yet. But as I said, I only had one instance of a part being missing. So that's good. This looks perfect. All right, back on track. Back on track. So this is probably kind of to simulate the windows of the different stories. I don't think I'm even building the Flatiron right now. I think I'm building... Oh yeah, this is the Chrysler building. Right, I forgot a building. I thought we were already at the Flatiron, but we aren't. We are at the Chrysler building. Gee. How could I forget you? Such an iconic building. Yeah, you can already see it right here. There we go. Focus. Yeah, that's better. All right. So that's already almost as tall as the Statue of Liberty. Let's just switch it up a little again and show you. Oh, let's go here and do picture in picture with perfect this. Alrighty. Well, let's go a different route. Let's choose the top camera and just do my stupid face as the picture in picture. Yeah, that also works, I guess. Yeah, you can see everything here. Perfect. All right. Much better. Yeah, I'm hoping that my second, third, fourth video, however many there's going to be, it's going to be less chaotic and also for that reason less long. I'm not quite sure if I'm... Oh no! Killed it. If I'm gonna leave this in one piece, to be honest. Or if I... 6. Oh, right. Yeah, 6. Almost forgot pieces again. If I will cut this up into more than one video, because it's gonna end up being pretty long. I was hoping to stay under an hour, because, well, watching an hour-long video, it's not a review, it's actually like a live build situation. So it's not a live stream. I will try that probably with one of the next sets. But yeah, it's gonna end up being over an hour, I guess. And I don't blame anybody who does not have the time to watch an hour-long video. And well, let's see how the interest in this one is and what people think of it. And if the comments suggest, well, duh, this is way too long, make it snappier. And then I'll just have to see if I cut it up into multiple pieces or what my action plan will be. So, and now, how many of those? A lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 6 of those. I had that. Okay, and then 12 of those, basically. I mean, I will do chapter markers for sure for the different buildings to be finished. So basically, I will do one for the intro, I will do one for the statue, one for the Empire State, one for the Chrysler, Flatiron, and Freedom Tower as well. So you will have no problem finding what you actually want to look at. So that's gonna be kind of the good news about that. So now I just have to pay attention that I built the right amount of stuff on top of one another, and that I don't put the clear pieces in the wrong orientation. Alright, almost done. Yep. And so how many is there in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, as I said, I forgot a layer. Here we go, and that's the last white piece. That makes sense on top. And the orientation of the clear parts like so. Perfect. Sweet. And now 4 of the... which ones is it? 4 the same or that's the only ones, I believe. Yeah, can only be these. It's weird because in the instructions, they look different in color. Like this is one of those pieces where I would be unsure if there were multiple options of the same piece in different colors, if they were actually the right ones that I picked right here. And on the picture in the PDF, it might look different in print. Let me check the print. Page 63, or step 63, sorry. Yeah, they kind of look more like the ones in real life than the ones on the PDF file. And on the top right, it says the entire crown of the Chrysler building is clad in stainless steel. So no rust issues there. Good thinking on the architectural part. All right. We are getting towards the top, people. This one right here is the one I'm looking for. Yep. So for example, this one is, let's see if I can show you. Oop. This one right here is a different gray than these ones right here. This one is again metallic, and this one is kind of like the kind of standard gray matte finish, and the same goes for this one, kind of matte gray, and then we have the metallic part, and then we have a light gray. So 3 different grays, and this can be a challenge, but in this case it worked out nicely. All right, the very antenna, here we go. And now we have the light grayish part again, I believe. So light gray, and there should be another one in light gray if I can find it. So we have this one, and we have this one, and this is a different type of gray again. Huh. So this is again interesting because in the instructions they look identical, but like just here in real life they are very much different, and not too sure if that's correct, to be honest. Not too sure if that's correct. But I'll leave it at that right now, because I don't have this part in a darker version. So this right here, this part there, light gray. This is lighter again than the other one on top. Very peculiar. Anyhow, let's go on. Okay, these are going to be covered up. Maybe then it doesn't matter anymore, to be honest. Maybe then it doesn't matter. Yeah, and of course I forgot a part. Yep. This one right here. Burp. So this one is going to be covered like so. This is also something that I dread, is running out of stories to tell while I build. It takes a while before it happens, and I've been told in the past that I'm good at talking without actually saying anything. So probably would have made a good politician, but not interested. All right, flat iron it is. Kind of surprised that this is, yeah, okay, this is the actual very top. Done. So, height comparison again. I would say with the antenna, it's basically as tall as the Empire State without the antenna. Again, scale-wise, I would not be able to tell you from the real-life buildings if that is actually correct. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Statue of Liberty is bogus in terms of scale. Like, that just doesn't... that just doesn't add up. But all the rest, not so sure how that would work out. All right, so flat iron, asymmetrical building, asymmetrical tiles stacked on top of one another. We have tan and light gray parts, and now we have 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now we have 6 of the 1, 2, 3. 4, 6, like the single round studs. Here we go. And let me just hold this to this camera right here. That's what it looks like so far. So asymmetrical from the back. I will definitely have this set still built and try to get my hands on... Ooh, there is a gray one on top. This is interesting. Okay. I will still have the set built and try to get my hands on the actual flat iron by itself to kind of compare the mini scale one to the bigger scale one. And I will show you the mini scale one in the other video if I can. So please hold me to that, and if I don't do it for some reason because I sold off the New York set before building the other one, you can comment slap me in the face. I think that's probably the quickest to be built, to be honest. Like, by far. But they are taking good care of it in terms of covering it in tiles. Nice. Yeah, that's it. Flat iron done. And I hope I won't break it again. So let me just show you the entire facade so far. Here we go. So again from Statue of Liberty, Empire State, Chrysler Building, flat iron, and height-wise, yeah, quite different. All right, so let me put this aside for you. I will put it, let me gather the parts a bit. Put this here for you to look at, and I can still see the instructions, which is good. All right, we're going for the base of the big guy of the One World Trade Center. And I gotta tell you, when I went to New York in 2018 and we had a day off and I was not yet sick, we went up to the platform and the elevator ride, and the view from up there is just unbelievable. It is insanely well done. And I mean, there is a couple of elevator rides throughout the city, as far as I know, that kind of give you the experience of going up as kind of part of the platform that you're gonna be on. So they usually tell you a little bit about the building stages and stuff like that. And when you go further up and further up, that's actually quite a cool thing to do. And I think from all of the ones that I did so far, the Freedom Tower, the One World Trade Center, is by far the best of all of them. And I can really recommend it. If you should ever be in New York, then that's the one you should be doing. Like, this is really something that I can't stress enough. And it isn't cheap by any means, but you can spend basically as much time up there as you want. You can walk around the whole top of the building and basically see the entire city. You can see the bay, you can see the Hudson River, you can see the other side of the shore. And if you happen to be there when the weather is good, like, the view is just tremendous. I can really recommend it. And the other one we did when we were in New York this time was Top of the Rocks, the Rockefeller Center. And that is entirely different, and there is more than one level you can go to, which is also quite nice. So I really enjoyed that as well. And the Rockefeller Center and the plaza in front of the center are both really cool. Like, it's a kind of a cultural hub, I would call it, with art installations. You have the ice skating ring, and the ice skating ring you probably know from also the Kevin movies, like Kevin, like Home Alone and Home Alone 2, where he is basically in New York, where he has like that famous run-in with Donald Trump, like, who has a cameo in the movie. And yeah, that is really something that is super cool. And I'm surprised I didn't F up this part. This actually looks like in the picture. Like this is not too not too complicated, but also kind of because it has multiple sides to it. Yeah, that's good. So kind of little cube that is going to be the base, I think. Hello. There we go. And these hooks right here, these claws go into basically, let's see. Now I need this, I guess. Now I need this. Oh, not yet. Okay, I have to keep building. Right. So, top. Right. Okay. Did I go to any other platform yet? I haven't been to the Statue of Liberty, so I haven't been on top of that either. I took the Staten Island ferry and kind of went by from a distance, and that was kind of what was recommended to us, like on multiple occasions, to not actually go to the statue itself. Is that? Why doesn't this work? This is supposed to work. Did I do something wrong? I believe I didn't. Oh, I actually did. What did I forget here? I forgot something here. Let's go back. Let's go back. So that's that. Oh yeah, I forgot these two guys. I'm talking too much, not paying attention. Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get. You don't shut up. Okay, fix that. And now these guys fit. Alright, that's much better. That is much better. Okay. And now we'll start to cover the whole fella right here with flat tiles, kind of spread out like this. And then the 2x4s, not the 1x4s. 2x4 right here. And the last one. There we go. So that's covered. Good. And now 8 of the 1x1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, and these go probably all around here without checking, but it's the only place they can go, I guess. Why do I have a chicken dance in my head right now? That's weird, but doesn't matter. And alright. Again, if you have any suggestions on how I won't break as much of the model in the process of building it, if you have any suggestions on the format of the video, please let me know in the comments down below, because this is basically just still a raw framework of how this whole thing is gonna go in the future. Oh, we have a blue pin. We have well, it's a half pin. These pins are infamous in Lego Technic because everybody who builds Lego Technic is always really annoyed by blue pins showing. And there are different companies besides Lego. I mean, Lego is probably the biggest player in the market, and they've done great things in the past, and I have a lot of models that I really like that they did. Some that I didn't, but that's just how it is. But like, there's different manufacturers of these building bricks who kind of figured out a way to use different colors, which I think is probably something that Lego could also do, and make them in the color of the actual model, and not have blue pins showing through, let's say, a red Ferrari facade, or like, not facade, what's the word? The body. Yeah, the body of the car. yeah, so that would be an idea for the future. And like blue pins, I think they also are kind of an indicator of the strength that they grip into the other brick with. But then again, they are meant to have like orientation also while building, I think. So that's also why you have different colored axles in gearboxes and stuff like that, and different colored gear wheels. But then again, I mean, people who build these sets, they probably can figure that out anyway. Like they don't necessarily need that much orientation with the help of colors. I mean, there are sets out there who don't have that, and they're perfectly fine without it. Like, they have no issue whatsoever being built. And I did another 1/8 scale supercar by another manufacturer called CAT. And the Italian supercar, they don't have a license, but everybody kind of knows it's a Ferrari 488. And they kind of have no blue pins in it. I think it's just black ones, and red and black go very well together. So yeah, they kind of managed to do that without any issue, and I did build it. To be honest, the model is a lot harder to build than the Lego Technic models. Also, the instructions aren't like by any means as long as the Lego ones usually are for this like 3,800 something piece model. So usually the Lego models have a 2-piece instruction manual for this kind of scale. But CAT, I think it was 6 smaller manuals, but like really, really smaller ones. And you usually aren't told as much where the individual parts have to go. So basically they just tell you, look, these are the pieces, figure out where they have to go by yourself. You've done this before, probably, if you've gotten this far. And this is not necessarily a beginner model, but it is also not by any stretch of the imagination impossible to build. So I kind of think, well, Lego could do the same easily if they wanted to. And this is something that I would really like to see in the future, if possible. And I mean, we've seen models where there is way, way less blue pins than in others. And we've seen models where there is not as many other colors showing from the inside. I remember the Millennium Falcon had quite a lot of other colors inside as well. But they were covered really, really well in the end. So the 75192 is the model number. That's what it is. Yeah, that one was a lot of fun to build. And with over, I think, 7,000 pieces, the biggest set I built to date. I mean, the Titanic is bigger, a lot bigger. And actually costs the same, I think, or about the same. The Millennium Falcon, if you get it used now, because I'm not quite sure if it's been discontinued, to be honest, or if it's end of life or not. But if you buy it used, you can get it for around 500 euros right now on eBay listings. Probably Craigslist in the US, something like that. But yeah, it weighs over 15 kilograms in the end when it's fully built. So you should have the space for it as well. You definitely need it. I hope I'm doing this right. This is one of those kind of situations where the kind of orientation is alternating between the different layers of the build. And with each story kind of that I built right here, the orientation changes. So that is something to keep an eye out for, that you don't have it in the same orientation twice, because it's not meant to be. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are getting closer to the finish line. And I just hope... Let me check my battery level for the laptop. Ooh, it is darn near empty, 13%. So I'm just going to lower the screen brightness a little bit. Yeah, because I'm recording both on my Ninja and also onto the laptop to have both, basically. I mean, if the laptop, I haven't connected it to an outlet right now. I was just too lazy to disconnect it in my living room and bring it down here. This might bite me in the ass, as I can see now. And it wasn't fully charged to begin with. I mean, the runtime of the battery is pretty good, but still, this could be kind of a whoops situation. But the good thing is that the trusty Ninja 5 is connected to the power, and it is recording directly onto an SSD. If any of you are also either thinking about doing videos of any kind, like any content for YouTube, Instagram, the TikTok, whatever. Did I just say the TikTok? Such a boomer thing to say. If you are in the market for getting started with any video content or audio content or a mixture of both, I mean, you can't do one without the other pretty much. So if that's something you want to do, then feel free to write me at any time about equipment that I use, about how I got my setup where it is right now. Don't hesitate to... Oh, please tell me I didn't F this up. Oh, yeah, do I know where the mistake is? What did I do wrong here? See, and now I did something wrong, I think, or did I not do something wrong? I did do something wrong because the spacing isn't right. Okay. I think I hear my wife and my dog. Okay, so the spacing is wrong for some reason. I forgot something, and I don't really know what it is that I forgot. So I have to kind of check that. But I think my mistake is somewhere in the middle. Okay, this is going to be interesting now, because let me go through the different levels. So, you might see a dog somewhere in the camera angles. I'm not quite sure if she's visible, but as I said, I am getting a visit from Penny. For you. There's Penny. Penny, do you want to build Legos or do you want to eat Legos? I think, hi. I think you might want to build Legos. Say hi to the cameras. You want to slurp into the mic? No? Thank you so much. Now go back to that. I think I'll be another 10 minutes. Yeah. Penny can stay here if she wants. So Penny is just by my left side right now. Down here, you can see it on the top view of the camera. And I'm almost finished with the build, so I will just try to get that done and see where I made my mistake, so I can kind of mitigate that. So, what did I do here? So let me see where my where my demise started. So, okay, I think I did something wrong here. Because I think these would have needed to... Oh, but if I... Let's see, so this... This is fine. And then there's this... okay, so I think I know where my mistake happened. So... okay, yeah. Found it, I think. I found it. Let me see if I can actually correct that. So, where is... Yeah, that's the last two parts I didn't use because, well, kind of forgot about it. So, let's see. I think... So we have that. So now... So let's see if I'm right now. Let me just deconstruct that. Yeah, so this is something that happens. No biggie, but has to be addressed, doesn't it? So that's those two. That's right. Okay, so this looks better. This looks good. Do these guys go here? Yeah, they do. Okay. That's that. Sweet. Okay, that looks better. Looks better. And oops, there is this one. Okay, that's that. And question is, so that's the height. Yeah, okay, so that's the correct height. Next. Okay, so that's that. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's actually, still something wrong. There's something wrong here. So these should be, so that's that. These should be on the same height as that, but they aren't. Why aren't they? Did I just forget basically this? Yeah, I think that's the mistake I made. Yeah. So Penny just collapsed on the floor, that's good. She was probably just in the garden playing frisbee. Because, as with her balls, she loves chasing frisbee. So that is probably what happened. And I think I figured out my building mistake. And I think this might now be a non-issue, hopefully. So that, and okay, there's two more tan pieces going here. So this is like so and like so. Yeah, this looks a lot better. This looks a lot better. Okay, back on track. So little excursion there. Sorry about that. And now I should be able to, look at that. That worked nicely, and now I can actually cover it up. Awesome. Yeah, so if you ever make a building mistake, don't get discouraged. You'll be able to fix it in no time, mostly. I made mistakes where I had to deconstruct basically half of a model, which, to be honest, wasn't the best feeling in the world. But I got there eventually. So, the battery is about to die. I have to hurry a little to get this to go well. And let me try if I can actually make that happen. So, we're building an antenna, I believe, again. And it's gonna be the largest one of the bunch, I guess. We're almost at the top, literally speaking. So that's that. Oh yeah, this is kind of the middle part of the entire bare bones of the thing. Okay. So 1 and 2 and this goes there. And we have this one right here. And okay, now we're doing these guys right there. Awesome. So that's that. And now we need all these parts. Right, and we're doing these times 4. I'm now, well, I wouldn't call it speed building yet, but I'm kind of ramping it up a little. And oh, this is gonna be so cool when it's done. It's gonna be so cool when it's done. Alright, so that's that. And how do they... Oh, okay, so this is kind of a... Right. It's a cool building technique, to be honest. Just have to get it... So, okay. Nice. Nice. I like that. So, oops. If my screen goes black in a second, then... Well, good thing I wasn't live streaming, but I would probably already have it connected to the power if I was. Even if it meant that I kind of have to run out and get the power supplied, but... This kind of... Yeah, okay, so this is correct, alright. Boop. So it's almost lunchtime, 11:25. I'm not a breakfast guy, I usually just have coffee, and I just realized I made one and left it upstairs. So I usually would have had like a lungo, which is kind of a longer espresso, or a double lungo is kind of my go-to drink. Yeah, but... Oh, okay, that's how it goes. All right. And the last one of those. And we are nearing completion, everybody. We are nearing completion. It's going to be interesting because usually when I shoot drum covers, the process is quite different. So I, of course, have to practice up front and learn the song and stuff like that. And then when I'm comfortable enough, I will basically get every camera rolling and then... Let's just do this for a second here. Right. Awesome. And once the cameras are rolling, I will just play through the song multiple times. And because I do live recording, in a term that I won't be cutting between takes. So the only thing that I will do is cut between the cameras so you can see what I'm doing on the drum kit. But I won't use like half of the song from this take and half of the song from this take for the audio part. Because I do want this whole thing to be authentic, pretty much. Yeah, so, hold on a minute. Did I now just build this the exact opposite way of how it should have been built? Really? Oh yeah, I did. Well, well done. Well done. Everything moved over like a quarter turn. So, now it's correct. So, here we go. Yeah. So I basically have to start over when I botch something recording-wise, and if I don't get like a full playthrough and make a mistake, I'll just start over again. Very different from what I'm doing here, and in the end, as I said, there is a lot of editing in terms of cutting between the camera takes. And I don't have that here. So this is part of why I did this whole setup with the switching device. Shouldn't there be 2? Yeah, there should be. I'm not concentrating. I'm really not. I'm getting hungry also. Could be a reason for it. I haven't had breakfast, as I said. But doesn't matter, we're almost done, and this is going on at an angle. Oh, people, this is starting to look good. And I think I will be able to make it before my laptop gives out on me. Let's see. And we're done. Haha! So these are actually all spare parts. All right, let's switch to the front camera and go through the whole thing together. So there it is, everybody. So we have Statue of Liberty, pardon. We have the Empire State Building. We have the Chrysler Building, the Flatiron Building, which you can see from the side better, which is kind of like this at an angle, and we have the Freedom Tower. It is a beauty, and it is quite nice to build, actually. A lot of skyscraper shapes, of course. Going up towards the top, and let's just cut the picture-in-picture, go through the different angles, oops, like so. So you can see it on every side. It's a bit difficult in terms of lighting. So if I go further back, it's and skyscraper from the top, like so. Down flat. Let's see if it survives that, so you can see it from the top. Yeah, it works. It is quite fragile, I gotta say, like because of the shape of the model, it is not the easiest thing to keep together. And here we have New York City. Nice. All right, back to the camera we started with. This is it. This was my first ever live build video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like and subscribe the Mo.re.Bricks channel. And if you want to see me build more of those amazing architecture sets, as I said, I have Paris, I have the Great Wall of China, Trafalgar Square, the Capitol Building, the White House, the Lego house in Billund, and hopefully many, many more to come. Yeah, then just leave a like and subscribe, enable the bell for all the new videos. And if you want to see picture content, basically of everything I do alongside of the actual videos, which is going to be a little quicker to consume, I guess, then stop over on Instagram. The name is the same, Mo.re.Bricks. Yeah, my name is Mo. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed building the set, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.